It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome, welcome. It's the Jill on Money Show, the program that's trying to help you along your financial journey. Let's get started with Patrick, who's on the line from New Jersey. How is life in the Garden State, Patrick?
Always beautiful here in the Garden State, Jill.
Oh,
great to join you and Mark.
Well, we are happy to have you. What brings you to us?
So I kind of wanted to do a check-in. My wife and I are putting money away. We feel like we're putting a fair amount of money away, but we also feel like we started a little bit late. We both started in government and didn't have a bunch of money that was disposable or that we could invest. So we feel like we're playing catch up a little bit. We don't have these huge sums that some people call in with. And we kind of wanted to make sure that we are doing all that we can do.
Okay. Are you guys still both in government or are you in private sector now?
We're both in private sector now. We did leave government with pensions, which I know you love. Love. So we have that, to sort of get us started, but now we are both, I should say, I'm sorry, I'm private. My wife is in government, but leaving. So
okay,
we're both going to be private soon. And we want to make sure that in that private space that we are investing our monies as we should.
Sounds good. Patrick, how old are you?
I am 50.
Okay. And your wife?
48.
Do you guys have kids?
3 kids. Our oldest is 14. Then we have an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old.
Okay. Got it. And, right now, what do you earn income-wise?
I earn about $270 base. I make about another $50 in a fairly stable bonus each year. Mm-hmm. And then there's restricted stock units that I get each year, which do vary, but it's somewhere between 30 and 50,000, and those sort of vest over a 3-year period.
Okay, 3-year vest. Got it. Okay. Your wife is still in the government, but she's leaving. So does that mean she has a new job already, or are we going to have a pause? What's going to happen for her?
I think remains to be seen. As you may have heard, things are a little bit crazy in the government right now.
You know what? I did hear that. I've heard that on the news. Okay. But did she lose her job, or is she still employed at this moment?
She is still employed. She works for the Department of Education, which is sort of making news as we speak.
Yes.
So she doesn't anticipate being let go anytime soon, but I don't know what that means in this environment. Mm-hmm. So she's making plans to sort of transition on her own terms. So she's looking right now.
Okay. So how much does she earn right now?
Right now she's making $180,000.
Okay. And when you left the government, did you have enough? So you had enough vested time in the system. What would your pension payout look like?
I've run it on a calculator they provide. I think we would each be entitled to a pension of about $3,000 a month. So $6,000 total for the two of us.
Let me tell you something. I don't care how late a start you got. That's huge.
That's $2 million.
$2 million. You didn't save $2 million? Yes, you did. You worked in the government. You did. I'm serious. I mean, I have to emphasize that to people, that oftentimes when you work in a job, whether you're a teacher, working in a system, or you're working in a municipality or the federal government, all that time that you're putting in, that you sort of like, oh, I'm not putting enough away, but you are entitled to that pension, and that is real money to you. So that is great. And Patrick, when would that kick in? At what age, that $3,000 a month each?
57. So we can start collecting at age 57. And actually, we don't have a choice. It just kicks in and we start receiving checks. There's no benefit to waiting.
Okay, got it. Right now, with your new career, how much money are you putting away into your retirement account?
So I am putting in 8% into my 401k pre-tax. There's an employer match of 6% on that. I recently started.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Sure.
Is it 1 for 1, or is it 50 cents on the dollar up to 6%?
I'm sorry. It's 100% on the first 4, and it's 50% on the next 4. So
okay, got you. I got it. Perfect. So you're using the match to the best of your ability by doing 8% pre-tax.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Okay. How much money's in there right now, Patrick?
I have about 247,000 the last time I checked. I'm also putting 5% in a Roth 401k that I have available to me. So of that 247, 10% is in Roth. I just started doing that, so it's not a whole
Right.
lot of money yet. And then my employer offers a defined contribution pension. So on top of the match, they put in another 6% of my income into the 401k.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's nice.
All right, so stick around this place for a little while.
It's a good place to work.
My gosh. Okay. Now, what about your old retirement plan? You worked for the federal government. Do you have a thrift savings plan?
I worked for local.
Okay.
So where we're getting the pension from that role, I did have I guess it was a 457 account, which I just left. I didn't do anything with when I left. In that, there's 167,000.
Now, what about your wife? What is she? What about her retirement in terms of contributions and the amount she has saved?
So she's in the thrift. So she's federal. So she's in the TSP. She's currently contributing 12% of her salary, and the federal government matches up to 6. So she does 12, and they match with 6. Her balance the last time she looked was 118,000 in traditional pre, and then she has 15,000 additional in Roth. She just started doing the Roth as well.
Okay, fantastic. All right, this is great. So far, this story is very impressive, I have to say. So what about any other retirement accounts that we should know about?
Nothing else retirement. We have a brokerage and an HSA. I opened the HSA after I started listening to you guys.
Okay.
So the brokerage, we have $20,000 in currently. I'm putting in about $250 a month. So not a lot, but trying to put in a little bit each month.
That's good.
So the HSA, we're putting in the max, which I think is $700 a month to get us to the $8,500 each year.
And any money saved for the kiddos, for education, anything like that?
Yeah, which is one of the questions we had. We're putting money into the 529. So right now, for all 3 kids, we have 245,000.
Yowza.
Yeah. It sounds like a lot of money, but when you look at these tuitions, it doesn't seem like a lot of money.
True. Good point.
But we continue to plow money into it. I think we're putting, when I first wrote to you, I think I put $2,700 a month, but I think I undershot that a little bit. I think we're putting about $3,800 a month into those 529s.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
It feels like a lot.
I'm sure. So, you're saving a lot of money, which is incredible. Do you have money in sort of a safe, boring checking, savings, money market, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we moved money into high yield. We had sold a house. We only own one house. I'm not one of these real estate folks, but when we sold our old house, we took some of the equity and just put it into savings. So we have about $135,000 in cash, of which $75,000 is sort of in an emergency fund.
Okay.
And that's just in a online high yield savings account.
Terrific. We'll get back to Patrick in just a moment. If you've got a question, just go to JillOnMoney.com. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here trying to help you make better, or at least less bad, financial decisions. Let's get back to Patrick, who joins us from New Jersey. Your home is worth how much money?
I would say just shy of 1.1 million. We live in one of these crazy real estate, areas of the country. So I think the last time I looked on Zillow, they were saying 1.1.
And what about the outstanding mortgage amount?
The bank owns most of it. I think we have 700,000 remaining on a 30-year fixed. The interest rate, because we bought only the last couple of years, is 6.625, which pains me even to say, but that's what
Hold
we're
on a
paying in
second. Let's have
interest.
a moment. Mark, do you want to have a little like meeting of the minds and have
I
a
mean,
little bit of a raise your glass every time you say something over the 6% mark?
yes, but it's better than, the 15% that we saw in the 80s, right?
Yeah, well,
True.
there you go. Mark likes to look to history quite often, so this is good. So,
True.
Patrick, you guys seem to be in excellent shape. I just want to do a few other odds and ends. Have
Yes.
you guys do you have life insurance?
We do have life insurance. I have about 1.5 million, and my wife has 1 million.
And this is term, right?
Term, yes.
Okay, great. What about your estate documents?
I sent them in. I do have legal services through work. So
Great.
before writing you, we made sure that we had sent those in. We're just waiting for the executed docs to come back from the law firm.
Fantastic. RSUs. Do you sell on that when things are vesting? Do you sell immediately or not?
No, I mean, I will say, I think my first year of getting RSUs comes up in about 4 months. My intention is to just take the stock. I get to choose whether I want cash value or stock. My plan is just to take the stock because the stock is fairly well performing. It pays a decent dividend and kind of just build up that pool.
Yeah.
And then maybe later on look to diversify because I know you don't want me having too much money in my own company stock.
So what's going to come up that will vest in this first tranche?
It'll be about $25,000 worth of stock.
So, ready for the magic question that is always the hard one? How much money do you guys spend?
We spend a lot of money right now, which I would like to blame on the kids.
Okay, fine.
Okay, but
They're not here to defend themselves.
But I would say all in with the mortgage and the savings we're doing.
No, not savings. It's just spending.
So just spending, but including mortgage?
Yeah, of course.
I would say without the savings, we're at like $16,000 a month.
Okay. Well, good news for you. I got $6,000 covered already, which is fantastic. But that's not really going to go down, even as your kids age. You got kids for a while, and how long are you going to work? What do you think?
That was a question I had for you.
Really?
I mean,
you want me to give you the exact date?
Exactly. Month, year.
Okay. Are we paying for 100% of 3 private university educations?
We would like to pay for 100% of a public university education.
Okay.
And if the kid decides to go private because that's their dream, they're going to have some skin in the game, I think. And
so if I have to send these kids to Rutgers, like my 14-year-old is going to go to Rutgers right now. What is that? $30,000 a year? $40,000 a year? What is it?
I think it's somewhere between 30 and 40. That's what we'd get the in-state rate.
Which is so horrifying to imagine that it's $40,000 and you're in-state. So the money that you have in the 529 right this second, at least for, the 14-year-old, we can cover that. We're halfway with the 11-year-old and we got a ways to go for the 9-year-old. So we can, push around the money however you want because you can shift between or among siblings, right?
Right.
So how is your cash flow right now? Like when you take this and now I'm including your actual saving as well. So how are you feeling?
Well, I mean, we have enough to cover everything each month. Sometimes if something comes up or we do a home improvement, we're kind of dipping into the money that we have set aside for that purpose. And then there are some months where we have some left over and we put it into, the reverse. We put it into one of those accounts for rainy day or for a home improvement. So right now we're good.
Okay.
We're not, and we do things like we take vacations and we go out to dinner. So I feel like we're okay. I just, when I listen to the show and I hear what other people are doing, they're doing a Roth or they're thinking of IRAs. I just wonder, are we doing enough or are there other things we should be doing?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think you've done a great job. I know that you say late or this or that. I think you really have done a very, very good job. You got about, I'm not looking at the HSA. I'm not even looking at the high yield savings, but you got about $550,000 that's saved by my quick calculation, and not including your 529. Now, obviously, if you didn't want to push so much money into your 529, you could be pushing that money into your brokerage account, right? when you think about retirement, you got a 9-year-old. You're not retiring before this 9-year-old gets through college. Is that fair enough?
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay, right. So like that's silly, right? So we got 12 years. So 62. How about 62? Does that strike you as a decent age?
I would love to do 62. When I've been running the calculators, I've been using 65 just because.
Let's see 62 because I have a magic
slam dunk.
Oh my God, Mark was doing it as I speak. Okay. So Mark, why don't you explain how that is you came up with that? So we have 550 that they've saved already. We have and again, this presumes, Patrick, you stay at this job. You're using his pre-tax contribution, and then you're also putting in their match and their defined contribution pension. Is that what did you add that all in, Mark?
Yeah, I had them saving, ballpark 100,000 a year combined.
Okay. So $100,000 a year, and not even listen, for all we know, your wife sticks around. Maybe she doesn't, but we're just going to freeze her pension at this place. Mm-hmm. So at $100,000 a year on top of the 550 they've saved, Mark, where does that get them in 12 years?
That's going to be about $3 million, give or take.
Okay. And so that's $3 million right there. We're not even shifting any of the money away from the 529 at that. In other words, we have you putting that 3,800 into the 529, but then once you have those couple kids that are already, a little bit older, especially the 14-year-old, we don't even have you shifting that money anywhere else. We just have that sort of extra money that's floating around. Let's call that our inflation. So $3 million. And then Mark, what are you presuming happens at age 62?
And by the way, that's a conservative assumption, $3 million.
Because he's been around me too long, because I would be like,
they're gonna have the pension. They obviously will have $3 million to draw on. And then, when they get to 70 or 67, 70, they have Social Security, and both of those numbers are pretty large.
Yeah. Have you looked at your Social Security at all, Patrick?
I did. So I ran mine at 70 because our plan was for me to wait till 70. The current estimate is $4,440 a month. Mm-hmm. And my wife, we ran hers at 67, and hers is estimated at $3,700 a month.
What's kind of great is that you have 16, we have the pension, which would, again, we're doing it in today's dollars. Okay. So let's just say you've got, of the 16 that you spend today, you have $6,000 of that's taken up from the pension. You've got money from your portfolio that can spit out, some amount of money, 100 something or other, 100, whatever. We'll have a lot of money that, let's say, $90,000 to $100,000 a year. And then, you wait 8 years and, 5 and 8 years and you're going to have Social Security. So it looks to me like 62 is completely doable. And clearly, having those two pensions is a big deal. The other thing I just want to encourage you to do, when those RSUs come up and you want to take the stock, I want you to sell it. I want you to, if you want it, I would take the cash, or if you want, you can take it the first time around. But I want you to get disciplined about selling those RSUs on an ongoing basis. If you have a financial question, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show. We are answering your financial questions. If you have one, just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. In the upper right-hand corner, there is a Contact Us button. Click that button. A form will pop up. That's the email that we receive. If you would like to join us live, then just check the box. Mark will do everything else. And while you're on the website, a few things to note. We've got a free weekly newsletter. It comes out every Friday. We also have a section for blogs. We have videos, resources, and you can also subscribe to our service. It's called Jill on Money Live. That is where you have access to quarterly live webinars, 4 of them, bonus audio and video content, our entire back catalog, and all that together costs $45 for the next 12 months. So check it out, Jill on Money Live. Right now, let's talk to Jennifer, who joins us from the Nutmeg State of Connecticut. Hello, Jennifer.
Hello, how are you?
Are you impressed that I know that it's the Nutmeg State?
I love that you know it's the Nutmeg State.
I know, it's crazy. What's going on? How can we help you out?
So I am a federal employee, and times are a little crazy, and I'm kind of betwixt and between things right now. And I have some questions on, am I all set for retirement if I have to retire early? And, a pension is a big reason why I took this job. I love my job. It took me a long time to get to the point where I could apply to be a federal employee. And I've been a federal employee for just shy of 10 years. And that's the crux of the issue. In order to get my federal employees retirement system, the FERS, my minimum retirement age can be between 55 and 57, which is okay because I'm 57 with 10 years of service. And I don't actually have 10 years of service until October.
Okay.
And
you got to hold on for dear life, baby.
I got to hold on. Because a lot of the reasons why I moved out of higher ed, which is where I was before, and finance, which is where I was before that, was the pension. I have my thrift savings account, and I have some money from an old TIAA. I have a Fidelity account. I have all these different pieces, but what I didn't have was a pension. So that was really.
So has anyone in your little area been let go or not?
Not yet.
And has anyone been offered an early retirement in your agency?
Just the OPM letter.
So I wonder, that would be, if you had through September, would that give you 10 years, or would it have to be through October?
It would have to be through October.
Okay, I got you. All right. I'm holding on for dear life with you. How much do you earn right now?
I wrote this all out, $132,000 a year.
Okay, great. And are you married, single, partnered?
Married.
Okay. Does your spouse work?
No.
Is your spouse okay?
He had health issues. So he's a little bit older than I am. He's almost 59 and a half. But he's not going to be working. He's going to take some distribution at 59 and a half.
Okay. So, and how old are you?
57.
55? Okay, 57. Got it. And do you guys have kids that are grown?
We have 2 in college.
Oy vey. Okay. How's that being paid for?
I had set aside a college fund. So one's in state school and one is in private. Actually, in this situation, the private school is less than the public.
That's so weird. Is that because there was more money available at the private school?
Yeah. Excuse me. More scholarship money available at the private school.
Amazing, isn't that? Because, your default is always state school, but then, some of these richer, smaller schools and private schools have the money to help you out.
Yeah.
So how is your cash flow right now on just your single salary of $132,000?
Tight. My cash flow is very tight.
How much money are you putting into the thrift savings plan?
I'm putting in 10% of my weekly pay, my biweekly pay.
How much money is in the thrift savings right now?
$162,000.
How about that old TIAA? What's in there?
$678.
And the Fidelity account, is that a brokerage account or a retirement account?
It's an old annuity with $70,000 in it.
And you mentioned that there's college savings, but that's all going to be spent, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's already earmarked. And
Any other money that is non-retirement, like a brokerage account?
no, I have $10,000 in an I bond.
Okay.
That I got a couple of years ago when the interest rate was nice.
Yeah.
But it's It's about $11,000 now.
Okay. And what about cash, like savings, checking, money market, anything like that?
No, we have about $20,000 emergency fund.
Okay. That's fine. And you own your home?
We have a mortgage.
Well, that's okay. You still own the home.
Still
We're
own
going to
the
have, so how much is the house worth?
The house is worth $567,000.
I'm going to say 565. I like round numbers, gang.
Mm-hmm.
What is the outstanding mortgage amount?
$298,000.
Do you happen to know the interest rate on that?
3.13.
Okay. And you love this house? You're going to stay in this house?
Going to stay in this house until we retire and then sell it.
And then where are we going?
Don't know.
Mark has an extra bedroom. Are you a good cook? Because, you know.
I am a good cook.
There you go.
I'm really not very good at handyman jobs. So something that has...
He's good at that. Don't worry. That's good. That's
okay.
Good. So when you look at the tight cash flow, have you considered pulling back a little bit on the thrift savings plan?
Well, I'm nervous about doing that.
I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking, and then we'll go through this. So right now, if you make it to October 31st, if you get to November 1st, what would the pension amount be?
The pension would be about $1,500.
Okay. $1,500 a month. But if you don't get to 10 years, it's zero?
Yeah. I can't find anything that tells me differently.
We'll get back to Jennifer in just a moment. If you're a federal worker, you're nervous, get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and let us know if you'd like to join us on the air live. And if there's anything going on in your financial life, do the same thing. We're here to help you out. That's what we do. It's the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger takes the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are talking about all of the things in your life that touches your finances, your money. And that means that any big decision that you are contemplating, any worry that you have on your mind, maybe just a double check on your math or a game plan update, just give us a holler. We are here to help you. Both Mark and I are certified financial planners, and we love this. We love talking to you and hearing your stories and helping you prioritize the different options that you have in front of you. So that's what we do. We love doing it. So just bookmark the website, JillOnMoney.com, so that when you have a question in the future, we are there for you. You'll see upper right-hand corner, Contact Us button. Right now, we're going back to Jennifer from Connecticut, who is a federal worker who's definitely feeling the heat. How much do you think you need right now? Like when you look at your tight cash flow, what do you think you're spending on a monthly basis? $6,000, $7,000, $8,000? What is it a month?
About $6,000 a month.
Okay.
You said when your husband turns 59 and a half, he's going to start taking distributions. What does he have?
Yes. Where is he?
Well, his distribution would come out of the $678,000. That was his TIA.
Okay.
Includes husband. Okay.
Yeah.
Is your husband disabled?
He is recovering from a cancer diagnosis.
So it's not disabled in the sense that he's not claiming Social Security disability.
No.
Okay. And what will his Social Security benefit look like when he is 62, 67? What's that look like?
It'll be about $1,600 when he's 62. It'll be $2,300 at 65.
And if you make it for those 10 years, do you get health care for life?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. And then I guess until you get to 65 and then you go over to Medicare. Is that how it works?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm thinking that we temporarily reduce your thrift savings plan from 10% to 5%. And the reason I'm thinking that is that I hopeful that this is just a temporary little pause and that the money, that extra 5% goes straight into the emergency reserve. I want you to try to bulk up your cash a little bit.
Okay.
Because if you
Just
don't
in
make,
case.
just in
Yes.
case is exactly right. Just in case you don't make it. So this is not a big bet that we're making in terms of the thrift savings plan. We're saying, the rest of March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So 7-8 months.
Mhm.
Now, let's say that you make it through this fall deadline. Would you stick around?
Yes, I would.
You'd stay as long as they'd have you.
I'd stay as long as they'd have me.
Okay. So then I definitely think pulling back to a 5% thrift savings plan. Mark, are you okay with that?
Yeah, at least for the time being, see what happens. Yeah, stockpile some cash.
Let's get some cash together, because here's the upside and the downside. The upside is that, like, oh, I've made a terrible mistake. I was fine. What was I thinking? No problem. And you can just restart that, once you get to November or maybe even the following year. Okay.
Okay.
Now, the downside of like what you're facing risk wise is that you don't make it. We lose that $1,500 a month. You got to go get another job because there's not enough money here to get you to where you want to go. So what I think is most prudent is to do exactly what you're doing. Do your job. I'm sorry that this is happening right now, but there's a few things that are in your favor. I mean, if you want to do like the break the glass scenario planning, if you get booted out, right? You go and you try to find another job. You either can find it or you can't find it. But maybe what you would do is, if you really got freaked out, you could always sell the house. You got a couple $100,000 in equity in that. You could like settle in a second, take a breath, go rent somewhere, stockpile your cash, and find yourself a job. I don't think you're going to have to do that. I'm going to hope, because we're going to do hope, that you keep your job. But I think what you should do is, even though you have so far evaded this, I think you should just, for your own peace of mind, you're going to pull back the thrift savings plan investment. But I also think it would behoove you to start looking around for what would I do if? Like, if you lost your job right now, where could you go? Could you go back to higher ed? Is that a possibility?
It is
Not
a
that they're doing so
possibility.
great, but it's possible, right?
Yep. It is a possibility. I do have advanced degree, and I am in Connecticut, so that is college land, right?
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
So there's that. It just love my job. So this was really, just so disappointing.
I know.
And I'm so close.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to be hopeful. Mark, how are you feeling? You feeling hopeful or not? Let's take Mark's temperature right now.
Fingers and toes are crossed, like for real.
Everything crossed. But I think, listen, if you hear otherwise, if the news isn't good, I want you to get back in touch with us. And we're going to put together the game plan for what needs to happen next. You get right to the top of the line, because any government employee who's listening, or someone who's just been let go, you get to cut the line. You're going to get preference. You're going to come on the program with us. So, Jennifer, do you guys have your estate documents done?
We do.
Okay, good. If you have a financial question, anything at all that is on your mind, maybe it's a tax question. We're coming to the end of tax season. Maybe it's retirement. Maybe it's education. Maybe you're just restarting your financial life. Get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button. And of course, if you'd like to join us on the air live, check the box and Mark will do everything else. It's the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are answering your financial questions. If you have one, just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. in the upper right-hand corner, there is a Contact Us button. Click that button, write us a note, and if you'd like to join us on the air live, just check the box. Mark will do everything else. Here's an email from Kate, who writes, I've been reading about the advantages of converting a messy brokerage account with too many stocks, like my $1.4 million brokerage account with 50 individual stocks, into an ETF. There's a couple of firms I've heard of, Cambria or Alpha Architects. I can see the advantages of getting a new cost basis and letting money grow without capital gains and dividends in an ETF. But this seems scary and possibly too good to be true to a Midwestern girl like me. What are you thinking about 351 ETF conversions? Maybe wait and let the others test the waters first? Well, Kate, it's a little bit of both. It is sort of a cool idea. And so everybody understands what we're talking about. A 351 ETF exchange means that you contribute appreciated securities to a new exchange-traded fund. There are a few ground rules, and that is that no single holding can be greater than 25% of the total portfolio. The top 5 positions can't make up more than 50% of the portfolio's net asset value, and as long as you own at least 80% of that ETF after the whole process takes place, you can essentially push off any capital gains into the future. But here's the thing. I'm not sure this is the best strategy for you. I'd really have to know about what's going on inside the portfolio, Kate, and I'd rather let this industry develop a little bit more and learn more about other ways that maybe you, the Midwestern girl that you are, might be able to thread the needle of reducing some of those individual stocks without hopping onto a strategy that probably needs to evolve a little bit more. You're listening to the Jill on Money Show. We've got a whole nother hour to go. We'll be right back.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show, the program that is trying to help you make better or at least more considered financial decisions. If you've got a question, go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us that note. That's the email we receive. So let's get this hour started. This is an email from Judah, who writes, the best argument that I've heard for why you should focus on paying off the mortgage rather than investing more is that if you had paid for a house, you wouldn't go and take a mortgage just to invest that money. So my question for you is whether you think that's true. Would you advise a 30-year-old with a paid-off house take out 80% of the equity and invest it? If not, then why not pay it down early? Let's assume rates are around 6%. Thanks again for the show and all of your great advice. My goal is to one day be one of those people who calls into the show and has you and Mark laughing at the absurd amount of money that they've saved. Well, okay. First of all, once you've paid off a house, it's not just an investment decision. It's about your ability to access the equity in your place. So if I had to do it all over again and rates are at 6%, I might make a different choice. I would say, well, why are you paying that down? You may not just want to invest it, but you might want to have access to it. So here's what I would say. If you're a 30-year-old and a paid off house, would I take out 80% of the equity and invest it? Probably not if rates are at 6%. Would I take 80% of the equity and invest it if my rate was 3%? Yeah, I actually would. I would definitely do that. And that's what happened during COVID when everybody was refinancing. They were refinancing to lower rates, taking money out and either paying down debt or investing it. The thing that I think is hard to imagine when you're 30 years old is how you might need your money in the future. You might need your money to put kids through school. You might need money because you've lost your job and you're not at your retirement date yet. You might need your money because you have a health emergency. With a paid off house, you really are stuck. You may be able to get the money with a home equity line of credit, but you don't know where rates are going to be. So if you want to give us a holler, Judah, and follow up about maybe what you would do if your current situation is that 6% number, then I'm happy to talk about it. But I'm also very interested to find out everything else going on in your financial life. I hope that helps. Okay. This is a question from Susan, who is worried about what she says is the threat to Social Security. Personnel cuts could threaten the reliability of our payments. Due to the recession, when I suffered significant retirement loss in real estate, along with my employer-forced early retirement, my retirement savings is practically gone. Oh, gosh, I hate this. I'm almost 67. I rely on Social Security and a small retirement pension through my state. I only have a few $1,000s in emergency reserves. My credit is very good, high score in the high 700s. How do I handle paying monthly expenses and credit card debt if my Social Security payments are late? Well, they're not late yet, Susan, and I'm hopeful that we're not going to see this. I think that if we are worried about the payments system, this to me would be the one place where I doubt that, and I've been wrong about this about other things. So I just doubt that it is a Social Security issue, okay, that they would be messing with. Remember how many people receive Social Security benefits? Remember how many of those people vote? But it's hard. It's scary. It's really scary. This is a question from Nelson. My 84-year-old mother has been diagnosed with dementia and Alzheimer's. She's moved out of her home and into mine. We live in California. I am retired. I've taken on full-time caregiving duties with assistance from my wife, who works full-time. I have two younger sisters who work full-time. They visit on weekends to assist with caregiving to give me a respite. We're trying to care for Mom and ourselves until such time as she might require a higher level of care in the home or potentially move into an assisted living or memory care facility. Our mother has an estate plan, which has her home and accounts in a living trust. The trust has my sisters and me as the successor trustees, 1/3 interest in the trust estate. My mother has had me manage her finances fully for over 5 years now. I estimate that if she were to require a higher level of in-home care or live in an assisted living or memory care facility, she would have enough funds to cover her for at least a few years of care. If those funds were to run low in the coming years, we would have to sell her house to fund additional care, as that would be her only remaining asset. Our mother's neurologist has determined she can no longer make meaningful decisions with regard to financial, legal, or medical matters and has provided a written statement. She has a durable power of attorney, advanced healthcare directive, which names my sisters and me as being responsible. Okay. Currently, the house is vacant, but my youngest sister has expressed an interest in moving in. She has proposed purchasing the house after selling her current home. This tracks to our mother's expressed desire in the past to keep the family home in the family. It would also provide a source of funds should they be needed for additional future care. However, since our mother doesn't actually need the extra funds at the present time, it doesn't make sense from a tax perspective right now. What other financial options should we consider? We would love for our youngest sister to keep the house in the family. We'd love to have our mother's home not be vacant, but we also don't want to hinder Mom's care if she needed more funds than she has down the road. What advice do you have that could allow us to keep both ideals in focus? You have the solution, my friend. Listen, Nelson, I don't know how much the house is worth. It's California. So let's assume you're worried because you're going to have a big capital gains to pay, right? Because she can only exclude $250,000 of this house, right? So I don't know. I just feel like just pay it, because what's the difference? And the alternative is you wait, it's all done at the last minute, and maybe you could do that as well. You wait till she dies, you get a step up in cost basis. I don't know. It just seems to me that it's probably easy to have her move in. She could move into the vacant house now anyway, and maybe be prepared to pay for it, and maybe just pay some rent right now, and then maybe you can wait and see. Thankfully, she seems like she has the money she needs. So maybe what you should do is your youngest sister sells her house, moves into the current home, occupies the house, pays your mom some rent. So that's very easy. She doesn't have to do anything except pay rent, which would be paying the expenses. And you can make that situation, you can kind of keep that as the status quo for a while and see what happens next. This is from John, who says, my wife and I have spoken to a financial advisor whose compensation would be 1% of the portfolio, which comes to $6,000 right now. He looked at our investments. He says he can do better for us. Not wanting to waste your time listing all of our investments is 1% customary. 1% is customary up to a couple $1,000,000. But if that person is not doing anything but managing your money, I wouldn't do it. If that person is a financial planner, then I might consider it. If you've got a question that's weighing on you or a decision to make that impacts your financial life, get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you'd like to join us live on the air, just check that box. Mark will do everything else. While you're on the website, you can subscribe to our 2 podcasts, Jill on Money and Money Watch. It's all there for you. You're listening to The Jill on Money Show, and we will be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. And I know we're coming to the end of a quarter here, and it's been a doozy, hasn't it? I mean, the amount of information coming out of the administration and tariffs, and they're on again, they're off again, economic concerns, market gyrations, all that stuff tends to fester. Don't let it fester. Get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button and let us know how we can help you out. We really love to do this. Right now, let's get to an email. This is from Michelle, whose subject line made me laugh out loud. Can I spend an inheritance I don't have yet? That's great. Okay. Michelle says, I have a strange situation, but I'm hoping it could be relevant for anyone who is expecting an inheritance but hasn't gotten it yet. My father just passed away. Oh my God. And left $40 million to his second wife in an irrevocable trust. 4-0 gang. My brother is the power of attorney and the executor. We have quarterly meetings with the estate firm that handles the account, and it is conservatively invested. When the wife passes away, that money goes to my 2 siblings and me. No other heirs. She's only 67, but in poor health. Oh my God. This sounds like a movie. All right. I'm going to be nicer about this. Maybe she was a very nice second wife. Who knows? She's only 67 in poor health in a retirement facility. She's been in the hospital 4 times in the last year for various reasons. I've been a saver my whole life. I've lived frugally. It seems like a shame that I could be in my 60s before I get that inheritance. It will pass to my kids. So I'm thinking I don't need to save anything for them. Is that correct? If so, here are my assets. The trust is $40 million. It's irrevocable. Nothing can happen to it. So meaning that when the second wife passes away, it goes to Michelle and her 2 siblings. I think what you're saying is that eventually it passes to your kids, which is true. I'm not worried about the kids, believe me. I'm worried about Michelle. Let's see if I have to worry about Michelle. Oh, I don't think so. Principal residence, California. It's worth $5.5 million. That's her house. $300,000 mortgage. There's $400,000 in a Roth, $1 million in traditional retirement accounts, $1.5 million in brokerage. No income. Michelle and spouse lost jobs during COVID. No luck replacing them. They get a little bit of freelance. Husband is 57. I'm 54. 2 kids. One is a junior in college. One is a junior in high school. $200,000 in a 529. We haven't even been using that because the trust pays all of our college bills as an advance. Oh, that's good. And the trust pays for the health insurance directly. So that's good. no new need for cars. They spend 10 to 15 grand a month. They really want to spend 15 grand a month. Social Security, 3 grand at age 67. Questions. How much money can we spend and not run out of money for ourselves or before I get the inheritance?
Tell me when she's going to die.
I know. This is a tough one. I want to start taking the kids on more luxurious trips. We've been frugal to this point. Can we afford to do this? I don't know how luxurious you want to do. Can they buy property in Europe? No, you cannot buy property in Europe. Should we do Roth conversions? No. Is there anything else should be? All right. So Mark, I think they can probably spend 15 grand a month. I'm guessing. I'm just guessing. I don't know for sure, but they must be pulling money out of the brokerage account, right?
I mean, there's no income, so they're getting it from somewhere.
So, but they're also not pulling money out of I don't know. Like, actually, I'm uncertain about this, to be honest with you, because it's such a huge amount of money. Is there anything else? So we don't have to worry about college. They don't have to worry about anything. But what if this lady, the second wife, holds on for a long time?
Yeah, that's the risk. That
seems like a big risk because you never know. I don't know.
I mean, what if she lives to 30 more years? Somehow.
Even 20 years, Okay. So is there any way to see in this trust, so ask your brother, is there any way that you can get an advance on the trust against your future inheritance? Maybe there's a possibility. I used to say you can't mess around with trusts, but I don't know. Everything's a document that's worth generally trying to do something with. I wouldn't want to, I mean, I guess you could spend your entire brokerage account down, but that's not going to take you that many years, right? Because she wants to spend 180 grand a year. It's like 8 years. I mean, at least if that's 180 grand, they spend it over 8 years, then they are at least, 60, she's 62 at that point. They don't have to worry about health care. That's good. I think the only way that you can really do this and spend like with reckless abandon and do whatever you want is selling the principal residence once the kids graduate from high school. I'm not sure that's worth it, but I would talk to the brother, the SIB, and about the trust and seeing could we take any advance against the trust? If it's like a hardcore ironclad trust, then maybe you're just going to have to wait. And by the way, this is why I think people are really crazy the way they create their estate documents. Truly. I think that is a nutty, nutty thing to be doing. I mean, there are a lot of ways you could have done that, by the way. Also, there are a lot of things in an irrevocable trust that make like you're getting your health insurance paid for. They're paying for college. Could they say for my well-being if I lost a job? I mean, there's probably something you could probably negotiate with this. That's what I would do. Anonymous wants to know, with the Treasury Department systems containing sensitive details, including bank routing numbers, for anyone who receives Social Security payments electronically or receiving refunds via electronic funds transfer, ACH, for income taxes, what's the risk involved for everyday Americans' checking and savings accounts if banking information is disclosed or compromised? What can we do, if anything, to mitigate these risks? I mean, we've been getting this question a ton, right, Mark? And I think that it kind of feels crappy to feel like everything is compromised. But again, what should you be doing? The number one thing I would be doing is checking my accounts a lot more often, making sure that payments show up when they're supposed to be showing up. And I think freezing your credit makes a lot of sense. If you don't need to be borrowing money, freeze your credit with the 3 big credit reporting agencies and freeze it for your kids. Can't you do that, Mark? You freeze it for your kids as well, because those numbers are out there in the universe. So I don't think there's much more to do. I really don't.
No, just have on 2-factor authorization on all of your accounts, monitor things, freeze your credit reports. I mean, that's all you can do.
That's it. Unfortunately, it's really what a unbelievable environment. Seth was recently notified that he is a highly compensated employee and he can only contribute a portion of his salary to his 401k, not the full amount. What tax advantage options do I have at this point that would be best to execute? Well, not a lot. I mean, I guess you could do a backdoor Roth every year if you don't have an IRA account outside, but that's only, $7 or $8 grand, depending on your age. and then you just plow the money into a investment account and be careful about taxes.
Unless he has an HSA.
Oh, also an HSA. That's a good one too. Good job, Mark. So smart. So good. Hi, Jill. In listening to you, it's clear you love when people have a pension. I get it. Guaranteed income is a wonderful thing in retirement. A pension paired with Social Security can, for some, cover their essential expenses. But in today's world, fewer and fewer workers retire with a pension. That's true. There's another kind of pension. Anyone with retirement savings. Oh, God. Is this from an annuity salesperson or what? Anyone with retirement savings can purchase a lifetime income annuity contract with an insurance company. Yes, you can. And you can spend a ton of money doing that. So anyone listening to this, great, Stephen. Thanks for your note. It's a great opportunity for me to tell you, please, please, please do not buy any insurance products before you talk to us first. How about that? That's good. This is definitely from someone in the business. Thank you very much. The entire premise of the insurance business is to make things so confusing and convoluted that you don't even realize how much you're paying for the contract. So get in touch with us before you actually purchase any insurance product except term life insurance or except disability insurance. Please do that. Okay. If there's something going on in your financial life or your real life and it touches your money, get in touch with us. Don't carry this all alone. We are here for you. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. It's the Jill on Money Show.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
Welcome back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here trying to help you take the mystery out of your financial life. We do that by asking you to do just a little bit of work. Go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. In the upper right-hand corner, there is a Contact Us button. Click that button, write us a note, and if you'd like to join us on the air live, just check the box. Mark will do everything else. While you are on the website, check out all of the content that lives there. We've got 2 podcasts. We've got a blog. We have videos. There are resources, and you can always sign up for the free weekly newsletter. That comes out every Friday. I like to think of it as the perfect warm-up to this weekend show. So check it out, the free weekly newsletter. It's right there for you. And, of course, you can buy my book, The Great Money Reset. This is a wonderful book if you're going through a big life transition. I really have based the book on my conversations with people just like you. So right now, let's go to Rob, who joins us from Kentucky. Hi, Rob. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
What brings you to our airwaves this morning?
Well, I had a question about diversification.
Okay.
As you know, diversifying is investing 101 kind of stuff when you're talking about diversifying across different types of investments. But my question is more to do with diversifying across institutions, if you will, where all my money is located.
Okay. Well, that's okay. I mean, I'm always interested in these kinds of questions. Sort of reminds me of like the financial crisis when we used to be like, oh, you don't have to worry about where your money is. And then you're like, wait a minute, maybe you do. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Rob. So who are you? What's going on? What's going on in your investment life?
Well, I am retired and my wife is working. Soon to be retired, probably by the end of this year.
Mm-hmm. How old are you?
64. We're both 64.
Okay.
Worked for a large company that used a large, well-known firm to administer the 401k and some other plans. So ended up through that having most of our investments, most of our money with this one outfit. Mm-hmm. Great company, great experience with them over the years. And, it's kind of made my life a little simpler having everything under that one umbrella. But as the world has changed, and I started thinking about, all the companies that are being hacked and, things that could happen. I thought, is it safe now to have so much of our financial assets under one company?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm just going to guess that the company's Fidelity. Am I right?
That's correct.
Thank you. I'm so good about these things. So I think that when we talk about the safety of assets, one of the things that I like to remind folks is that, like, when a lot of companies were under pressure, even in the great financial crisis, right? That when those companies were under pressure, the ones that were just holding retail money, that would be like a big retirement account or all those IRA accounts or, your accounts, Rob, that they weren't doing investment banking. They weren't taking your money in some way and risking money that they were investing on their own, maybe putting the firm itself at risk. So Fidelity is not an investment bank. Okay. It's an asset management company. And so I would not worry about any problems with Fidelity. Now, you also mentioned something that I think is important, and that is, hey, what about risk in general, like privacy, security? In that respect, I think working with a company like a Fidelity or a Vanguard is also a good idea because they spend a lot of money on their security systems. Now, of course, any company, any bank, anyone can have a hack. I don't think you have a lot to worry about when it comes to Fidelity's wherewithal to manage that risk. But if you're talking about, ease of management and making your life a lot simpler in terms of your financial acumen and your financial management, I like easy. Easy works for me. So I don't think that this is a big issue. I'm just wondering, have you been feeling this way for a while, or is this a new feeling?
Yeah, it's more over the past couple of years. Never really thought about it as I was working and building our nest egg. But I guess when you get to a point where you don't have the ability to earn that income for, if you have some kind of a setback or a loss, you get to our age, you start to think about how do you protect what you've built a little more than you did when you were in your 30s and your 40s and even your early 50s.
So can I ask a different question? So because I appreciate the question you asked. I don't think you have a lot to worry about, but can I ask you about your other diversification, like the amount of money you have and how you are investing it and managing that, just to make sure that we have a sort of running a health check on Rob Inc. and Rob and his wife Inc. So tell us a little bit about that part of it. Like, what do you have and how is it invested?
Well, we have a couple of IRAs. I have one in my name and one in my wife's name, which is traditional IRAs, which is a little over $3 million. And then we have I have a Roth, which I have started over the past several years, converting some of that traditional IRA to the Roth. My wife, who still is working, has a small Roth IRA through her employer, has about $20,000 in it at this point, and then have a brokerage account with Fidelity, which just made up of some stocks and bonds, has about $600,000.
For you guys, are you using the money in the traditional IRAs or the brokerage account as income? I mean, your wife's working right now, but is her income right now enough for you, or are you drawing on these assets?
We're not drawing on the assets at this point. Between my wife's income and I have a pension, which I started drawing on this year. So between basically those two sources and some interest and dividends, we don't have to withdraw any of those assets at this point.
That's great. And so when your wife retires, will she have a pension?
No, she will not.
We'll get back to Rob in just a moment. If you've got a question that is on your mind, get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. You are listening to The Jill on Money Show.
Welcome back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger takes the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here trying to help you navigate your financial journey. And this is such a good time of the year to check in with yourself about your investments, your retirement, your tax situation. You went through the tax season. What did you learn from that return? Do you have too many investments that are generating too much income, or mutual funds that are simply tax inefficient? This is a perfect time to gather up those documents, pull out those returns, and get in touch with us. Go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, tell us what's going on. Maybe we can help you out. Maybe there are great lessons to be learned from that tax filing process. It's so great to use this document, this living, breathing tax return, to inform you about things you could do in the future. And I love this time of year for that very reason. Not because I'm a glutton for taxes, okay? Really, come on. What kind of person would I be? Right now, let's get back to Rob, who's on the line from Kentucky. When she retires at the end of this year, you have your pension, which is how much about?
It's about $35,000 a year.
And then what do you figure you need to live on? Just like big picture.
It's probably 120,000 a year is enough.
Okay. And you're going to have plenty of money. And then when do you plan on claiming Social Security for you guys?
At this point, I haven't completely decided. It could be 67. Won't be before 67. Maybe chance of even delaying that, depending on how things are going.
You guys are in good health?
We are.
Okay.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it. The reason why I asked that is that maybe because you have so much money in those IRA accounts, maybe part of your strategy should be to wait to claim Social Security and pull some of that money out of those IRAs to live on / convert.
Mm-hmm.
Because so next year, your only source of income will be pension and interest and dividends, right? So presumably, I don't know, you don't have that much money in the brokerage account, but presumably you have the 22%, maybe, I guess if you had a big year and you sold some stuff in the brokerage account, maybe the 24%. I would be pulling money out of those IRA accounts and trying to whittle them down and or try to convert them and, live on that money and delay getting my Social Security or claiming my Social Security to age 70. I presume once you get to 70, what's the Social Security amount? Do you have an idea of that?
It should be 50-something thousand a year.
Great. Okay. So, you have plenty of money. And so I think that the one thing that you could do to just kind of minimize those future distributions, those required minimum distributions, is pulling money out of the retirement account, out of the traditional account, and or converting, either one or both. The accounts themselves, how are you managing that? Is it like index funds? You mentioned stocks and some bonds, but are you in funds or individual securities?
Both.
Mm-hmm.
It's I've got about 65%. If you were kind of looking at the traditional allocation, about 65 in stocks, which includes some ETFs,
yep,
and then 35% in bonds and CDs.
You feel comfortable with that just in general, or do you want to, are you nervous about the allocation when markets go down? Like we've had a bad couple of weeks, but do you feel nervous about that or you feel okay about that?
Yeah, I still feel okay with that.
Okay. So then of course, as you look ahead, if you are going to stay in your 24% bracket, which I think, it would, the 24% bracket for this year goes all the way up to $394,000. That's a lot of money that you can take out of the IRA or convert. And since you do have a brokerage account, you have money on the outside to be able to pay for a conversion. I love the combination of doing that. Do you guys have grown kids?
We do.
And
3.
Everyone's doing okay? Those 3 are good?
Yep, all on their own, and
great. 2
married and grandkids. So yes,
amazing,
good.
So I think that if you're okay with the diversification, 65-35, I'm okay. I do think getting some of that money out of those IRAs right now for the next 5 years, what a great way for you to minimize, or at least like I say, minimize tax risk. You're still going to have to pay taxes, but at least you have the knowledge of this is my tax bracket. I am paying taxes with certainty right now. And, I don't know, 10 years from now, the world changes over. Who knows? But in this period of time where you know where you are tax wise and you know that you can convert some of the money, it's kind of nice to have it done. So I think that's a better way to manage your anxiety about a company going broke or diversification of company. Let's concentrate on that because I think that's going to be a better use of your energy. I really feel very confident, in the ability of a place like Fidelity to withstand pretty much anything. Also, by the way, Fidelity, as you know or may not know, it is a private company still. Mm-hmm. So it tends to have a different kind of exposure because it's the family's money. When it's the family's money, it's not the public's money. I don't know. I think you run it a little bit more risk averse. Just my 2 cents. You guys have your estate documents done, Rob?
We do.
All right, man. I'm going to send you on your way unless you have any other questions.
No. Thank you very much. I appreciate the insights.
If you've got something going on in your financial life and you need some help, just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, complete the form, and check the box if you'd like to join us live. The Jill on Money Show will be right back. Welcome back. It's the Jill on Money Show. And before we conclude the program, just a reminder, all of our content lives at our website, JillOnMoney.com. And if you have a question, just click the Contact Us button, which lives in the upper right-hand corner, no matter where you navigate on the website. Okay, let's squeeze in one more email. This is from Jen, who writes, I have a small pension from a former employer with an annuity payment of $236 a month at age 65 and a maximum of $302 a month at age 70. I can take a lump sum of $24,680 at age 61. Would that be more beneficial? And therefore, I could reinvest in a different 401k or an annuity? I don't have a hard retirement plan date as I enjoy working, am in good health, like what I do, and still have some debt to pay down. I am currently 54 years old. Well, Jen, I think it might be easier, considering that these are not huge dollar amounts, to take the lump sum and roll it into your current 401k if the plan allows that. I would not buy a different annuity. And if your plan doesn't allow a rollover, then roll it into an IRA rollover at any of the places where you can buy cheap index funds like Vanguard or Schwab or Fidelity or T. Rowe Price. I think that's going to make it easier for you to manage and certainly will be the cheaper option rather than buying another annuity. This is kind of my generalized rule when it comes to retirement accounts, that if you have a current retirement account that will accept new money in from an old account, then I just think it's a lot easier to consolidate and manage and have it in one place. You're probably going to manage your diversification better, just easier overall. So if you can do that, I think it's a good way to get a little bit of a tighter control over your retirement assets. And again, if your plan does not allow it or the plan is a rotten plan currently, then you can just roll it into an IRA rollover. Pretty easy to do. Okay, that's it. That is the program. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Mark Talercio is our executive producer and king of all things web. We ask that you do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.